Jackson, Florida.
Yes, sir.
I liked it on Facebook.
Follow us on Twitter. INSiiGHTS.
Yeah.
2 I's in the middle. INSiiGHTS.
All right, y'all.
And Rick Brown, the reporter from the Lakeland Ledger. Now, game time creator, INSiiGHTS. Game of the week, Plant City Game of the Week. The cameraman, the man who puts it all together, Rick Brown.
And thank you, Coach. Thank you. And let's not forget the roving reporter, Coach, everywhere. INSiiGHTS is everywhere, not just in Polk County, but in Duval this past weekend. The coach, Mickey Clayton.
Thank you from the winning Cleveland Browns. Boys, last week, they were about to run Deshaun Watson out of town on a rail. And he was able to pull it off and the team change and pull the W off. And who would have thought the Browns at 1-1 would be ahead of the Cincinnati Bengals 0-2 and the Baltimore Ravens 0-2. Who'd have thought? And then your favorite team, the Cowboys, who demolished us, lost last week. I know you were really upset about it.
I still can't get over it. I don't know what's going on in Dallas. Fire them all. Or second thought, keep them all. Please keep them all. I love that performance. Keep it up, Dallas. You're doing a great job.
Oh, Sports Diva, we see you. What's up, Coach? And say, Rick, the Polk County reporter.
Wow. Back in my old stomping grounds. How about that? That was
and just tell us a little bit about how that felt for you, to unfold and put out a game and to be there for Tenor Rock out of Polk County. Share that with us.
Wow. It very, very surreal just being back in Polk County and covering a game. But it was hard in a sense because I was doing the camera work and if you saw the game, you saw some interesting shots there by this still learning cameraman. But it was fun. The atmosphere, a little sparse crowd, but they were loud. The game itself looked like it was going to be a dud. And then Tenor Rock came back down by 20 at halftime to come back. And the fourth quarter was going back and forth. Yeah, it got me back in my element. Loved it. And can't wait to do Friday's game this week. And excited. And I promise you it will be a better production. Promise.
Well, we'll hold you to that. But it was obvious that you enjoyed doing it. And even with the post-game interview to talk to the coaches and to be on the field and see the excitement for Tenor Rock. See, what he didn't tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that was actually Tenor Rock's first W. And they were really, really excited about it. And one of the few times, as long as we've been doing this, one of the few times a high school coach actually forwarded the tape to his people. That doesn't happen. And I always like to say about the basketball coaches, but nobody really does that, and we really did appreciate it.
Coach Troutman and Center Rock is on board, Coach. They're excited about bringing INSiiGHTS coming to Polk County and them being a part of it. Hey, Dr. Miller. So this is a great union between INSiiGHTS and Polk County, and we'll talk about expanding later. But right now, Center Rock has stepped up, and we're on board with them. So thank you, Center Rock, the Center Rock family, the Titans family. Thank you for Southeastern University, because that campus is lovely now, for allowing us to come and let's do this. Let's have a great season.
Well, first, hey, Dr. Miller, Chiquita, Rattlerette Hooper, and say, hey, Coach Rick and Sports Diva, how about those Chiefs? How about them?
How about them?
And, one thing I love, Chiquita stays in touch with us she's like a football fan. So we always hear from her going on. But I appreciate Center Rock. And, there's certain schools that you tend to work in because they seem so appreciative of what you're doing in terms of exposing them. And the things that they do with their followers and different things like that, we appreciate that. Sports Diva, Dr. Miller said, hey, Dr. Miller, who that nation? Because they beat the Cowboys. So yeah. They beat the Cowboys. So we had really do appreciate that. And even with our correspondent program, I know you've kind of developed a affinity.
Hello, my name is Kingston Kimbrough, your inside student correspondent here at Kansas Rickards High School, and this is our weekly sports highlight. Last week in a rainy game, our Raiders football team beat Charles in a close 14-7 victory. This week, our Raiders golf team will be facing Lincoln on Tuesday and Thursday. Our Lady Raiders volleyball team will travel to Dobie and Taylor County on Tuesday and Thursday and have a weekend tournament in Jacksonville. Wednesday, our bowling team has a match and our swim team has a meet. And this Thursday, our Raiders fall baseball team has their first home game here at 4 p.m. versus Leon. And on Friday, our Raiders football team will travel to Colquitt County. Once again, I'm Kingston Kimbrough, and as always, One Nation, Raider Nation.
I know that's your thing there. One Nation, Raider Nation.
Raider Nation. Yes, Coach. And did you see the way he was holding the mic, Coach? And it had the Raider symbol pointing to us. Perfect. That's a ninth grader.
Ninth grader.
Keep doing it, Kay. Keep doing it.
And then sent us one Friday. We didn't telecast the game Friday because it was raining. And because there was someone else that was televising the game, they were inside. We were okay doing it outside, but we couldn't do it outside in the rain. We couldn't afford to lose our equipment getting it wet. And he still sent us an update in the rain. That's Kingston Kimbrough, ninth grader. And a lot of what we do with Rickards is because Rickards really does appreciate and put forth a lot of effort to get their people involved and to get their support with what we do. Now, quiet as it's kept, there's another school that really does support what we do.
Hi, can you guys introduce yourself real quickly?
Hi, my name is Kira Mathis. I'm a senior and I'm a libero. Hi, I'm Bella Bruno. I'm a senior and I'm a middle blocker.
And can I just get a recap of your season so far?
Yeah, I think we're still growing as a team and we have a lot of potential. I think we're still growing and we have a lot of potential. We've had a few ups and downs, but I think we're looking forward to coming up on a lot of big wins and really bonding as a team.
So my next question for you is, what have y'all been through as a program with no gym?
It's been really difficult with no gym, having to travel back and forth between different facilities and bringing all of our equipment, but we've really grown together as a team and as a program going through this adversity.
And my last question for you is, what is the insight into Tuesday's ribbon cutting ceremony?
Yeah, so basically our volleyball court / basketball court is dedicated to Mark Feely, the previous athletic director who unfortunately passed away. It's basically just a ceremony to honor him and his family and cut a ribbon in front of his name to the court dedicated to him.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Go Big Red.
Go Big Red. Yes.
And a lot of the Leon High, because we had the new coach, Ellie Centron Gibson, on and have done some things with them. I mean, a lot of the Leon High people actually do follow through with us and followed us. And our numbers in terms of supporters and followers just leaped by getting involved with Leon, getting involved with us. And we are very, very appreciative of that and having a chance for them to even participate with what we're doing. So we really do appreciate the fact that, you know, these high schools really do a lot of things with us. So when you wonder and hear about why we're involved with certain schools, that's exactly why, right there, for those very reasons.
And hashtag, coach.
It's about the kids.
It's for the kids. It's for the kids. And these schools are pushing them out. Hey, we want them. We want them. So thank you. Thank you.
We appreciate that, because us spending time and doing things with the students is very important to what we're doing. And we have another interesting piece here. Rick Brown.
DJ Douglas out of his cleats there. Oh, I mean, that cutting ability. Oh. This is why he was the number 4 ranked dual threat quarterback coming out of high school. Oh, like that's like L1.
I tell it to teams all the time, momentum takes one play. I mean, that's it. That's all it takes to change it. And, we just, obviously have had some opportunities that, that we've needed to respond in those situations. But I mean, I think from their attitude, their approach, I mean, even they're in the locker room, we're all disappointed. As we continue to work and continue to pour into each other and the opportunity we have.
All right, thank you.
The fire alarm sums up how this season has started for not only Florida State's football squad, but also the Florida Gators. It hasn't reached the point of dumpster fire status yet, but the alarm is signaling they are close. Florida State is 0-3 after an embarrassing 20-12 home loss to Memphis. Meanwhile, the Gators are 1-2 after a physical 33-20 beatdown by Texas A&M at home that really wasn't that close. What happened? Where did it go wrong? We are finding out that finding the right quarterback can mask a lot of a team's problems. FSU wasn't the same after Jordan Travis's injury last year, and they're not the same this year. Still, the defense was supposed to carry the load until the offense could find its footing. While no one has scored more than 28 points against FSU, teams are running around enough and through the no defense like a bad cold. For the Gators, Anthony Richardson, now in the NFL, helped overcome a lot of recent bad play. Now, offensively, they aren't making the necessary plays to extend drives or in critical situations. Defensively, Texas A&M ran for over 300 yards against Florida coach's Billy Napier's squad. Enough said. FSU is the more surprising of the two, however. It appeared Coach Mike Norvell had turned the program around. That 13-0 start from last year was ranked in the top 10 entering this season, but now they're looking just for a win. At one point in the 90s and 2000s, the Gators and Seminoles were not only jockeying for the top spot in the state, but among the best in the nation. Now, the thrill is gone. The good news is, it really shouldn't take too long for these teams to regain their footing. They have the resources to do it. But with the transfer portal acting like a lifeboat for a sinking ship, it's easy to see players bailing out of the Titanic, which prevents continuity. I always believe the first game of the season is tough for a favorite, as the opposing team has the entire offseason to prepare for one game. Unfortunately, these teams are headed into week 4. This is the time where teams are showing who they really are and what they can become. Unless the coaching and players perform better and something crazy happens, the forecast for both squads for the rest of the season is gloomy and dreary skies.
And that's really bad for Florida schools. I remember my brother when he first moved to Florida, he said, man, I love being in Florida. I said, why? He said, every year somebody playing for the national championship. Florida State, Florida, Miami, somebody playing. And they're really struggling right now.
They really are, Coach. And it's surprising. You just didn't expect it, especially from Florida State. But, wow. Oh, my goodness. GT. Hey!
What's up, everybody?
It looks like he's in church. So that means I think he did that intentionally so that you're very careful about what you say. So I need to let his behind be on here, but so long for we have to take him off. Welcome aboard, St. Gerald.
Appreciate it, Coach. Good to see you. Rick, good to see you, the reporter.
Always good to see you, sir. Always good to see you.
Thank you.
Thank you. You caught some of the commentary we were having about the Florida schools?
Yeah, and I'm going back to the 80s. Well, really around the 80s, when those rivalries were competing for national championships every year. It was like, the national championship, at least from that standpoint, ran through Florida, Miami, or Florida State. And this times that we living in now, with these NIL deals and transfer portal, I don't recognize college football the way that I used to. It's almost like reminding me of pro, where I would follow my favorite team, but I would also follow my favorite player.
Yeah, we just had that discussion about following teams and following players. And the transfer portal, and it's interesting. Mike Norvell's being criticized for being in the transfer portal, especially on the offensive line, and some of the guys he brought in. And they're saying if they didn't start where they were, what made you think they were going to be able to be counted on at that level? So that indeed was a good question. And then you have Sweeney, who doesn't take anybody from the transfer portal. Right. So, and I understand building your own program. I really do, with the freshmen and pros, and you almost have to take some transfers, but I don't think that I would take a lot of transfers, and especially at the level they're competing at. Now, if you're some of the HBCUs and you take a kid that was at a Power 5 school that didn't play, he might be able to contribute for you at the level that you're at. But if you're a Power 5 school, it's not many that you get that transfer that come in that really make a difference.
Right. I agree with that. And us being basketball lovers, it's easy to do this in basketball, take a transfer in and, for that 1 or 2 years. But we should have seen this coming a few years ago with the one and done in college basketball. And we've made it so much easier for kids to just go from one school to the other if they're not getting playing time. And in some cases, they're getting playing time and making significant contributions. But they decide, let me take my talent elsewhere.
One of the kids who transferred to Colorado was not a wide receiver, said he wasn't really expecting to play a lot, but he wanted that NFL training. He wanted to be around those players who are preparing to play at the next level. He just thought that would be advantageous to him to get that training for a year. But speaking about Colorado,
I can see that, Coach. I can see that, especially at Colorado, where they have Sapp and Coach Prime. Yeah, 2 Hall of Famers.
And speaking about Colorado and Colorado State, the rivalry between
Football rivalry games are some of the most anticipated contests outside of championship games that athletes play. The intensity and emotions, not just among the teams, but the fan bases, are so high that families can often be divided during game week. The football game between Colorado and Colorado State have seen their contest, which was first played in 1893, turn from friendly in-state rivalry into ugliness. Prior to Saturday's 28-9 Colorado victory, the ugliness was on full display. During the week leading up to the game, CSU receiver said that they should have murdered those guys, talking about Colorado last year. And quarterback Braden Fowler Nicolosi said, "We'll see how far Instagram followers get them." Now, we can't expect young athletes to be politically correct all the time, and they should get a pass for not being media savvy. But when Colorado quarterback Shedeur Sanders refused to shake Fowler Nicolosi's hand after the game, social media was in an uproar saying the young Sanders was being a poor sport.
You that same talking shit on Instagram. You talking on Instagram. All right, keep talking about our business. You can't fuck with me.
The old saying, I believe, fits here. Don't let your mouth write a check your behind can't cash. Is it a good look? No. But one has to give respect in order to get respect. And no respect was shown by the CSU athletes. Still, they usually follow the mindset and tone of the adults or leaders. And CSU hasn't exactly been as calm and cool as a Tony Dungy. CSU head coach Jay Norvell, as well as his wife, have taken digs at Colorado, making it personal to Buffs head coach Deion Sanders and the team. Remember Norvell said this prior to the game last season about shades? Coach Sanders took that personally.
Congratulations. And I was never talking about your family. I was talking about my mom. You are.
Later, Norvell's wife said this on social media prior to taking it down, appearing to call the player Sanders out of his name. Needless to say, Coach Sanders did not appreciate any of this then, nor now.
Wonderful game. Personal game, heartfelt game, emotional game. They kind of make it like that. We just want to play some football. The disrespect was uncalled for throughout the week. A couple of their players took shots at the whole program and a few of our players, so it is what it is. So we knew that coming into the game it was going to be a bit personal, and it was. I think one of our coaches, Coach Phillips, doing warm-ups, one of the guys ran into him and elbowed him, which is uncalled for. I just pray that our kids never acted in that manner, because I know you guys would have a field day if they did. But I know you won't say anything or do anything when the opposing team does that versus us make derogatory comments during the week about our program. But when you allow kids to sit in an interview and talk against us, and you just got beat by 50-something in week one, come on, dog. Somebody help me here. Am I missing something? Straight up, tell me. I don't see where that's done in sports. That has to be allowed. Ain't nobody crazy enough to sit up there and say nothing like, who does that?
This is the last time the teams are scheduled to play each other until at least 2029. That may be a good thing. While rivalry games are often emotional and intense, bringing bragging rights to the victor, this is getting a little out of hand, and truly is not sportsmanlike.
There was a lot to unpack there. There was a hit that was delivered on Shedeur, helmet to helmet, that was very, very late.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of the commentary said nobody made a comment about it. Nobody said anything about it. Now, the people on the telecast were stunned that it wasn't called. It wasn't flagged. I mean, they were stunned. And then, but the referees wanted to eject Travis Hunter and some of their players for celebrating.
Mm-hmm.
They wanted to make an issue out of that. But if they took Shedeur out with a late hit, helmet to helmet, that was okay. And nobody mentioned it. You know, so that dual system just kind of, you know, it is far from being objective in the course of that contest.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Agreed. I mean, and last year even when Hunter got that late hit, and was out for a week or two. I mean, the guy got 15 yards, but did he get ejected? I don't even remember if he got ejected or not.
He did.
Now the players did. I did appreciate them coming together afterwards. I think they even did something with social media together and squashed it between them two. But the mindset and coach, I mean, I'm not one to blame coaches, but they have to get it from somewhere. And if the coaching, if the leaders don't allow that, if the leaders don't allow that, it wouldn't happen. So, call a spade a spade.
During your day at Rickards, who was your coach?
So my first varsity coach was John Sodick, and then my senior year we had Ernest Rock Jones.
That's what I was waiting on. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Two different mentalities. And, you know, Coach Jones was from Jacksonville, and he came along in the era at FAMU. And he was, he didn't mind telling you that, you know, you got to get physical, you know, while you're playing. Basketball is supposed to be a non-contact sport, but every now and then, you know, it got a little physical, even at the point guard position. And so, because, you know, we were the ones that were trying to cut off the head of the snake on the defensive side of the ball. So, you know, we played tough, and but, you know, there were times he had to get on us about, you know, just competing. You know, it was all about competing, and built a lot of character in all of us.
And he was a disciplinarian, wasn't he?
He was a hard disciplinarian because he was he was the one that when you came to school late, you went right to his office. And that started from our freshman year all the way to our senior year. And he didn't play. You know, he was one of them coaches and a great mentor. I mean, you know, guys now still revere him today because of the amount of respect that he commanded. John D. Harris, you know, was a JV coach, but he was an assistant varsity coach. He commanded that same thing. We wouldn't have won state without Coach Harris on the bench. And my junior year. And those kinds of coaches instill that discipline in us to be better basketball players, but more importantly, better students while we were at Rickards.
And what did you take from the discipline that you received then that you ended up taking throughout the rest of your professional and personal life?
One, you know, if you're not going to work hard, you ain't going to be successful. You know, nobody's really going to give you an opportunity. You can earn an opportunity. You can, you know, it's like earning that scholarship to, you know, to go to school. You want one, you're going to have to earn it, and then you're going to have to work hard to keep it. But the main thing was that discipline allowed me to, you know, kind of take the, you know, stuff that I was good at you know, I would say that I was a moderately good basketball player. And I got to be better because there were certain skills that I wanted to work on, and I knew I had to work hard on it. And so with that, in what I do professionally now, that same principle applies. You know, in order for me to be a good photographer, you know, or to be a better photographer, I got to constantly take pictures, and I got to constantly analyze those pictures, or video production, or even audio. You know, it's the same thing. I've got to analyze and make sure that I understand how I can get better at creating stuff, and putting quality out there.
Now, I think that you're not telling the whole story, because I don't think you really learned what it took to work hard till you went to Wisconsin and was playing one-on-one with somebody, and it was a little different than any other one-on-one opportunity. Share that story. That's the story you need to tell.
So when I got to University of Wisconsin, which is where I did not want to go originally, because it was too far away from home, and but I didn't get my shot at Morehouse, so I decided to take my talents further north. And this second right, the second semester, and got to University of Wisconsin and got indoctrinated by one Wes Matthews. Now, most people know Wes Matthews that's currently in the league, but he had a father that was an outstanding basketball player. And he was, you know, McDonald's All-American, and Wes was all of that. Wes was the #1 draft pick for Washington Bullets when he came out. But competing against Wes had this thing of making you go one-on-one. We played one-on-one full court. You know, most people play one-on-one half court. We're playing one-on-one full court. And, you know, at the time, I didn't understand why we were doing that. But what he told me was that I was helping making him better, because I was quicker than he was, and he was quick, but I was quicker than he was, particularly on the defensive side of things. So, but that I mean, you know, that kind of challenge was something new to me. Especially competing against somebody who you knew had all of these accolades, and it lets you know that you can compete against even the best, and that you didn't have to back down to anyone.
Yeah, Rick, you know that. You know, playing half court one-on-one is a whole different game from playing somebody full court one-on-one.
Right.
Definitely. And you can see that where it can help you on both sides of the ball. Defensively, you said you was quicker than him, so he had to improve his speed, his quickness to get past you full court. And defensively, you had to lock him down. So I can see where that can help.
Yeah, I wasn't the best shooter, but Wes wasn't the best shooter either. But he could get to the hole and create shots for himself, you know, and he improved to be a better shooter. But I mean, in terms of just overall quickness, Wes was that guy, and he could jump. So, you know, it wasn't like he did not mind going to the hole and dunking on you. He was going to do that if he could.
Mm-hmm. Well, tell us about how you had to reevaluate what you wanted to do when you moved on from playing basketball and tried to find yourself. I mean, you've ended up being very successful as you reinvented yourself. But tell us about that process. And what I really need is for people to understand, a lot of times when they see someone and they see the finished product or see the accomplishments, they don't understand that it didn't come easy. They had to work to be able to get to that. And I think that nowadays a lot of our student athletes, as we say, hashtag it's about the kids, don't understand the work that it entails at most levels to be successful.
Yeah, I mean, even in high school, my whole thing was I just wanted to go to college and play ball, right? What I wanted to major in and what my dad wanted me to major in were two different things. And so I wanted to be in communication.
And I think we've lost him temporarily.
The expansion team, Golden State Valkyries, will start in the WNBA during the upcoming 2025 season. They are saying they have more than 17,000 season ticket deposits. They're the first women's franchise to reach that number of support. That number is the highest for any professional women's sports team in history. There are not many WNBA teams that average more than 17,000 fans per home game. To have deposits totaling more than 17,000 is a remarkable achievement. The only team with more than 17,000 fans is the Indiana Fever. There are 4 additional WNBA teams with over 11,000 fans for their home games. The WNBA continues to set attendance marks. Just for the record, do you know what a Valkyrie is? Do you? It's a female warrior. Playing in Golden State.
Valkyrie. I like that. That's pretty tight there. Welcome back, Jeff. Finish telling us about the difference in what you wanted to major in and what the Mr. Tooth wanted you to major.
Yeah, so I wanted to major in communications, and so I, again, I ended up working at a bank before, and that was somewhat of a compromise, but it was a compromise because I needed to work at that time when I came back home. But eventually I got into radio, and so, which is where I wanted to kind of be. I saw myself being in radio for a while, and had some success in radio. I was afforded an opportunity where I ended up, from there going into record promotions and working at A&M Records. As Coach liked to remind me of, I had a chance to travel around with Janet Jackson for a little while, but
just a nobody on the road.
Right. And so there was some success there. And again, constantly kind of changing roles and responsibilities and all of these things that, eventually led back to that kind of disciplinary, I guess, part of my life of, just making sure that I worked hard at whatever it was that I did. Now, yes, some things kind of came natural, but, I still had to work hard to hone the skills. And so I got to a point where, in my life that I did not know where I was going to go. And we're talking, late 50s, kind of a thing in terms of my age. And I'm like, Lord, what am I getting ready to do to, kind of reinvent myself? But I just started bringing in all of the skills that I've learned over the course of the last 30 plus years, and start being on some of the cutting edges of things that has allowed me to be where I am today.
As he helped in the formulation of INSiiGHTS, Mr. Gerald Tooks and Jeff Walker, they were the two people that really got me started when I was talking to them about doing this, and they were like, "Oh man, it's not that hard a deal. This is what you need to do," and that's easy for them to say. But Gerald was that guy, and Jeff Walker on the other end to help with the production and things. But Gerald with a lot of the creative things that we started doing and developing the program. Now, GT, I would like for you to talk a little bit about what advice you would give to some of our student athletes now, male and female, it actually seems like they see life and opportunity a little different than us old people did.
Yeah, the interesting thing is, I know we're in this instant gratification stage of life with our young folks that, they think things are just supposed to just magically and instantly happen when they want it to. But even from a creative standpoint, when you're trying to create things, it takes time to really birth it. Was 2013, I guess, when we started, talking about insights, and we had no idea at that time that we would be talking about insights in this medium per se, where it can be seen around the world. And it, just starting off as just a podcast, and now podcast is whether it's video or audio. But it took time to get it to where it is today. And so my advice is to just kind of stick with the idea of what you want to do and then work at it, perfect it. Just because you think that, okay, it's perfect the way it is, there's always room for some improvement, because it can get better. You may have had 25 points, or you may have run for 200 yards and threw for 400 yards and had 5 interceptions in one game, or whatever the case may be. Well, you can get 6 interceptions in the next game. You can throw 6 touchdowns the next time instead of 4. The receiver can catch more passes. But the same thing happens in business and in life, in that you're going to make some mistakes, but don't just throw it away because it didn't seem like it worked out. You just got to perfect it a little bit more. Quick story. I just finished doing this project, Stories of Inspiration, and learned about a gentleman named Jan Metzelliger. And Jan Metzelliger is developed the shoe laster machine. Now, this was an enslaved person, came into this country. While he was on the ship, he developed this shoe laster. He, designed it, perfected it. We still use that type of machine today to sew the sole of the shoe to the bottom, to the bottom of the shoe today. But because he perfected it at the time that they were doing it, it was they could only do like 1 or 2 shoes. His machine allowed them to mass produce 700 shoes per day, which means that they could sell more shoes and get it out there to the mass public. Well, because he had that kind of idea, he worked at it, he perfected it. It took time to get it to that point and have it patent and everything like that. So again, I just say, don't throw away your ideas. Work at it, perfect it. It takes time to birth.
Wow, some good words of advice right there, and we appreciate it from a Rickards High School graduate who's still actively involved in sports and himself involved with being able to help students and talk to them, and active in the church to be able to do that. Now, because we have some other thing, we want you to stay long as you can stay, or long as you'd like to.
Yes,
but
sir.
we have a piece we'd like to show you.
Okay.
And we think that it'll resonate
On
with everyone.
4th down, Tua Tagovailoa closed his eyes, lowered the crown of his helmet, and ran headfirst into Hamlin. Tua went limp, causing the back of his head to slam on grass. Tua has been diagnosed with at least 4 concussions his professional football career. Damar Hamlin initially thought maybe it was a cramp on a muggy Miami night. It had been 20 months since Hamlin's cardiac arrest, where a blunt force to the chest made the heart rhythm stop. Hamlin was brought back to life with CPR and a defibrillator. He spent 2 days in a medically induced coma. Hamlin's medical emergency was catastrophic. He actually died on the field. Many in the football world went on social media to tell Tagovailoa to retire. Strangers begged Hamlin not to play anymore, too. It's a dynamic that sports fans are fearful of and sadly have seen before. In the annals of collegiate sports, Hank Gathers continued to play after heart distress and passed away on the collegiate basketball court. Athletes sometimes pay a heavy price to play the game they love.
Sobering a little bit, huh?
It really is.
Yeah. Yes. And you don't think about it. We talked a little bit about this last week, how we use sports to get away from everyday life, but sports is a microcosm of life, and everything that happens in life happens in sports. It was, and that was wild. That was wild. The two players, wow. Hamlin, that was wild.
And with all that he went through himself,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and then not really aware that that had happened to Tua until later. I mean, it was more than ironic. It was actually sad. And then the piece about Gathers, you know, people have forgotten about that, but a lot of us didn't.
Right.
You know, that was something that stayed with all of us in terms of something that we'll never forget. So even as you said, with all that we've talked about in terms of sharing and being able to use sports as a getaway, there's some things that happen to it that bring it back to you full circle. Now, we also had to do a little segment where we show some SWAC football coaches commentary, and we don't show all of them. We just show a few of them, and it's really interesting the feedback that we get on it. Some said, well, a couple said they were boring. A couple others said that they appreciate having an opportunity because we do them from different parts of the country. And they're saying that they don't always know what's going on with SWAC and the HBCU life. And then we have some people that we always show because of the interest that we have. And this particular one that we have from Prairie View is my homeboy from Merritt Island. And we have a tremendous following on this show from Merritt Island High School. And they're always supportive of seeing their homeboy.
Yeah, I think it was an exciting weekend. Always good to see these young men from this level go up to a big level like that and go out there and participate against a Big Ten team and, just get familiar with that type of atmosphere. Kudos to Michigan State. They welcome us in, open arms. They gave us everything that we needed. Had a chance to get the guys on the field early when we landed, just so, it won't be their first time going in there during game time. So that was a good thing. Awesome thing for Michigan State to allow us to get on there and do a little run through, walk through. As far as the game, again, my guys competed. We still left some things out there that we feel that we could have taken advantage of. How much advantage? Again, not sure, but again, we know that we inside the 30 twice, and as I told the guys, we got to be able to come up with some type of points, when we get that close, because again, we got a really good kicker. We just got to put it in his hand to kick the ball. Unfortunately, he missed one. A little nervous, we talked about it, big game jitters, and just trying to adjust to the wind. He had some issues adjusting to the wind pre-game as well. So, but again, I would count on him anytime, any day. I know what he's capable of doing. He's going to make that adjustment, as we will, not only with the kicking game, but the offense as well, and defense. Again, we just got to keep, stop shooting ourselves in the foot when we have an opportunity to make something happen. We got an interception, then next thing we got a penalty, late hit out of bounds. So again, just correcting those things, and get ready for a good team coming in here with Southern coming in here, and try to get a win.
Appreciate it.
And you playing against Michigan State, and all you could do is try to draw as much positive as you can out of that situation. But they have Southern coming up this weekend, and that should be a pretty good game, because I think for the rest of the season, after this week at least, there'll be a lot of conference play going on.
Mm-hmm. I didn't know Bubba McDowell was your homeboy.
That's him, Merritt Island.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I just associate him with the University of Miami. Just thought that he was from down south.
Yeah, Central Florida, Merritt Island, a legend there, and a kind of quiet, unassuming guy.
Yeah.
Kind of as you saw him on the interview talking, that's kind of how he is.
Mm-hmm.
And he's done a pretty good job. He won that division last year, so he's done a good job. And Merritt Island, one thing they do, they support. I mean, we get a lot of support from Merritt Island, and we've had some of them that come want to know how they can buy hats, and they bought apparel and things. So I appreciate Merritt Island and the support they've always showed me.
The Mustangs,
you better tell somebody.
Two things that we can improve on. We obviously being 2-1, excited about that. But to me, it's not a good 2-1. We've had two games where we had the ones that we won. They were really, really close games where we had times or opportunities to make those games with a little bit of a wider margin. So we struggled with that against Miami, right? Which ultimately gave us the defeat that we had. And if we don't take care of those four specific things, offensively and defensively, we can be in another tight little spot against Troy. So, obviously, you're playing an FBS opponent last week or week and a half ago against Miami, and now you're playing another one in Troy. Two good football programs where, you got to take care of your details to make sure that, that you're in the football game.
I appreciate you, Coach.
Problem.
Next question goes to Charles Bishop.
How you doing, Coach?
How you doing, Charles?
I wanted to ask this question in addition to obviously your evaluation of your team. On your off week, did you kind of take an opportunity to kind of take a look around at other teams around the SWAC?
Well, for our bye week, right? I mean, I wasn't watching Colorado State. I was watching the other teams in the SWAC play. You look at the level and the talent level in our conference. It's at an all-time high. You had some games interconference, right? That where they didn't really matter in the standings, but believe it or not, they mattered to those individual universities. So got a chance to watch everyone play. It's athletic conference, athletic bunch. I don't know how far we're looking into having to open up conference play because some of the teams that we do have to play. But yeah, I got a chance to watch some. Obviously we watched a little bit, throughout the year, but got a real opportunity to watch some this past weekend.
I appreciate that, Coach.
And Coach Cozy, he kind of a favorite here. Rick, what's that piece we always pick at him about what he said about his cornerback?
Yeah. The cornerback was looking at the quarterback, just staring at him. So I said you could stare at him from the sidelines.
He took him out, put him on the bench, boy. I said, "Oh, I like that." I said,
"Yeah." As a coach, you love that one.
Yeah. I was about to say that would be like Coach Clayton.
yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm.
You want to watch it? Come over and sit with me, and you can watch it. You don't have to worry about it, okay? You obviously don't want to play. But another one that we get a lot of comments on, Alabama State, Eddie Robinson, Mr. I'm the SWAC.
Well, it was a defensive showdown between the two teams. You were able to hold them to just 12 points. What are some things that you plan on focusing during practice in the next couple of weeks to ensure that the team remains competitive on both sides of the ball?
Well, with us, it always starts. If you can't kick, you can't win. So the special teams aspect of it, we'll focus on that, have some young guys who I feel like can step up to that next level and start getting them in the game. Defensively, I have some secondary guys that we were kind of.
Well, it was a defensive showdown between the two teams.
He kind of left us, and I was writing a note because he said, "You can't kick, you can't win." I was like, "Ooh." My SWAC coaches, boy, I absolutely love them, and Coach Robinson always has something to say. And when we show you, we always have to go back and show.
We started off with one of the toss, deferred to the second half, and we had a miscue on a blown assignment. Right off the bat, a 54-yard pass. Then on offense, opening drive, touchdown callback for covering the tight end, which, could have been questionable, but that's why we played the game. And then we had a field goal block. Special teams, did well. We had two touchdowns by Darnell Dees, 4 returns for 225 yards for average of 56.3 yards. So it's kind of good to see us put points on the board and, take some good aspects, from the game, we played. I mean, obviously we put up 31 points, against a good football team.
Next question goes to Doc Holliday.
Good morning, Coach. How you doing today?
Good morning. How you doing, Doc?
I'm doing good. Oh, man, tell everybody, what do you think about Darnell Dees and his ability in the return game?
Well, I tell you what, I mean, that guy, he comes to work and go to work. And like I told him, when you get an opportunity, you're going to have to seize the moment. I mean, going back last season, they was kicking the ball away from him. And, it was just good to see him being able to put the ball in his hands. And then obviously the other 10, making those key blocks, getting to the winner's angles. And then he did the rest by himself.
And follow-up question. You're going up against a primarily passing team in Clark, Atlanta.
Dees has it on the return. Angling to the near sideline, has a lot of space in front of him. Across midfield, Darnell Dees. Kickoff return for a touchdown. 95 yards. And a quick response. Takes it off a bounce at the 2. Since Basel has the seam across the 35, and he breaks loose. One man to beat to the 10. Touchdown. Second kickoff return for a touchdown today for Bethune-Cookman. No flags. Unbelievable.
Wow. That's all I can say is wow.
I don't think the kid was touched on
At
either
all.
one of those returns.
Found his speed.
Speed.
You do not see that often.
No.
No.
You
Not on returns.
No. And what did he say last year? Wouldn't anybody kick to him? I see why.
He keep doing that. He's not going to kick him this year. Y'all kick to him if you will. Go ahead. Play.
Right.
Play with fire.
That's not going to happen. That much we know for sure.
This is the coach from the Mick and Rick show. You can see us Wednesdays live on INSiiGHTS YouTube at 7:05. We talk about all types of sports topics and information. Everyone talks about Rick and his cup, but he talks quicker and quicker when that bottom is up. I'm just saying. What the damn hell?
That's funny. I think I speak well out of the cup. Tune in and tell me what you think. Mick and Rick, Wednesdays 7:05 on INSiiGHTS YouTube.
Y'all too. Y'all too.
No, that's Rick.
No, that's Coach. That's Coach. That's not. My throat gets a little parched, so you have to take a sip or 3. It's so, I don't know why everyone.
They're harping on the cup.
Hey, he's got.
And then the cup is talking. The cup is talking. What in the world?
Oh boy, ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate y'all being with us tonight. And we had a chance to have the only person I know who named a car. They named a car after him, the GT.
That's it. That's it. And had to have one too.
They named a car after it? I said, man, I'm glad to say I know this guy.
Special.
But we're going to go back just a real quick minute. We talked about the Golden State Warriors women's team that'll start playing next summer.
Mm-hmm.
They've sold 15,000 tickets already. 15,000 tickets. This year has been a banner year for women's basketball, collegiately and for the WNBA.
No doubt.
It grew in the WNBA because the players that drew everybody's interest graduated out of college and went to the WNBA. And as we say all the time, it was just like Bird and Magic.
Yep.
That they went over to the league. Mm-hmm. But you have another young lady that's coming out of USC.
Oh my God.
Juju on the beat.
Juju.
If you see some of her workouts, oh my God.
Yes.
She's going to be special. Mm-hmm. And you cannot forget from UConn, Paige Becker.
Paige Becker. Yeah.
And I was a Paige Becker fan, and that baby kept getting hurt.
Mm-hmm.
And she still come back and roll. And then the commentary that she made for being honored like she was and saying all of the black athletes that were better than her that weren't recognized, it took a lot for her to say that, to come out and say that. But it's going to be another interesting season in women's basketball.
Yes, it is.
Indeed.
And thank you for introducing me to women's basketball all that many years ago.
You were a little bit in awe when you saw it, huh?
Oh my! Listen, I was a fan for life at that point, and to see where it is today, I think that's the thing that I enjoy the most about the women's game now. I always appreciate it because of the fact that it was so fundamental, and the way that they played, and you can just watch it and the purity of the game, to when they started adding a little bit of the hot dogness in it.
I always like the hot dog point guard.
Yes.
I always like the hot and recruited them that way. So I don't care how you throw it, as long as it's getting there. Now you throw it in row F, we're gonna have an issue. You bounce it off your elbow, your head, between your legs, off your foot. I don't care. Our fans will love it. And they were like, really? I was like, yes.
Yeah.
Listen to these basketball guys. I love it.
Wait till you go to Polk County and start doing basketball. You will see. You will see.
Ooh. No, you guys will see. You guys will see. They got some hoopers in Polk. Definitely.
They got some hoopers.
They got some hoopers.
They do.
I can't wait. I can't wait.
Your attention, please. Stay up to date with the latest from INSiiGHTS. Visit our website at INSiiGHTS.com. 2 I's in the middle. INSiiGHTS.
INSiiGHTS is a copyright of Mac4 Enterprises, a Florida corporation. This broadcast is produced under the exclusive ownership of Mac4 Enterprises and is the intellectual property and trademark of Mac4 Enterprises. Comments of the host and other individual speakers on INSiiGHTS represent their independent thoughts and representation. Talk.
Ladies and gentlemen, Sports Talk with Mick and Rick, and with one of our original guys, Mr. Gerald G.T. Tooks, who helped us found and start and get us going. Rickards basketball legend, state championship winner, now just living his life.
Just living my life.
We appreciate everybody for being here and continue to support and follow us. Remember, we're on INSiiGHTS, has its own Roku channel, 24/7. Wednesday is Mick and Rick Day. We have different episodes from Mick and Rick. Thursday is Claflin, the Claflin Athletic Show. We got Faith TV on Sunday. We got INSiiGHTS Magazine. We have a We have creative content. We got a number of things up there. So, and you can download it and put us on your app. Insight says their own app. You can download us on your phone, Android or iOS, free. That's our favorite word. Then we have coming up, we got McClay basketball. We continue with Rickards sports. So we got a lot of things up there. And now, game of the week from Plant City.
Polk County. Tenor Rock. The Rock.
Polk.
One
I
pocket at a time.
appreciate y'all.
We out.
We'll see y'all next week.
Yes, sir.